Okay, ladies and gentle dudes, this is the first time I'm going to do a little tutorial on how to co-host on Blog Talk Radio because a lot of people have had trouble with how to do it. So, at the same time, I'm doing a tutorial on how to simulcast two different Blog Talk Radio shows at the same time, which is unprecedented. So, I don't think anyone else has figured out how to do it. Well, maybe they have. Maybe they're ahead of me, but anyway. Here's what we're doing. I'm a Blog Talk host, and I'm going into my sign-in sheet. Here's my Blog Talk page. I go log in. I log in how I always log in. I use Facebook or I use an email. Either one works for me fine. When I set the call, I go create. But since I've already set the call, I don't need to go to create. So I'm going to go to episodes. So if you've already set a call, you can do it on the create page or you can do it on the edit of an episode. So I'm going to do it as an edit of the episode. Okay. So I go into this show. It's called the Dual Radio Show Simulcast of Full Moon Activation with Andrew Aloha. Andrew Aloha has a Blog Talk Radio show, so we're going to do two radio shows at the same time. I made him go into, because he didn't know how to do it either, go into his edit like this, edit the page, and where it says here, invite up to 4 guests, co-hosts, please separate emails with commas. So what I did is I had him add the email in. I'm going to add an email here. So what I would do is I would add the email here, and I would, at the end, I would go down here and push save episode. But since I haven't had the whole email in, it won't let me save it because it's showing this as a wrong email. So I don't want to put the email here because of privacy. But anyway, he put my email here. He went down and he saved the episode. And I got a link, and I'll show you what the link is. It was sent by email to me, but I have it here on saved on my Skype message too. So this link is a Blog Talk link. I don't like it opening in this, so I'm going to open it in another place because I have a really messed up internet thing now with Microsoft because I switched to 10. What is it? The new Microsoft 10 or whatever. I don't even know what they're called anymore. Windows 10, and it's the worst thing in the world I ever did. But anyway, I don't have time to go and switch back to Microsoft 7, which was shitty too. I preferred preferred Windows XP, but they stopped updating Windows XP, and all my computers that have Windows XP won't work anymore with all the things I used to work on. So he gave me this link. It's sent by email once he puts my email in that little spot, and it says direct connect. It says 27 minutes to show, so I can't push the direct connect right now. If I do, this is what will happen. You have to do it 15 minutes before the show starts, because if you do this, it will say there's no show now.
Blog Talk Radio. Your show is scheduled to start in 27 minutes.
Please call back within 15 minutes of scheduled showtime.
So if you're going to be a co-host and click on this, no, stop. End the call. Okay, that's what I wanted to do. Okay, if you're going to be a co-host, I have to refresh the browser now because I've already called in. You want to make sure the co-host isn't pushing the direct connect until within 15 minutes of the show starting. So now I've kind of messed it up. Oh, there's the show starting again. Okay, and you want to have them put their name in here. It's showing my emotion code healing, which I can't figure out how to change that because I am a emotion code certified practitioner, but I use many other healing modalities, and I wanted to change my name. What was the first thing when I first signed up for Blog Talk Radio, I used emotion code healing, but I want to change that, and I haven't figured out how to change that. So anyway, I put my name in there and I push dial connect. I've had people that I've wanted to do co-hosting on my show, but they don't have a landline connection. This is a landline connection. You'll see here landline. I have down here a full box and landline connection, which is by NTT, which is the fastest connection in Japan. I used to try to do it with other connections, and it just wouldn't work. Okay, now I'm going to go back to my switchboard because this is what if I was just going to be a co-host, this is what I would need. I wouldn't need anything else. But since I'm going to do a simulcast, I need to go to my own studio. And I have a call at the exact same time he has a call. So both of ours are going to start in 25 minutes. So what I'm going to do... Okay, so he's telling me he's keeping Skype open, but I'm going to be calling in on Skype. I've learned that the best connection, this one says Direct Connect, which is called Zingaya Call Service. It sucks. No matter how good your internet connection is, it doesn't work. Luckily, they got this new feature here where you can call in using Skype. I used to call on Skype using the host switchboard, and that sometimes cut me off. This one so far has never cut me off. And when I called in on the host switchboard, I had to call a number on Skype, and I had to pay for Skype credit. What I found the best way to do is I did a $50 a year plan, which gave me 400 minutes a month, which I do my show twice a month, I do 45-minute shows usually, so that actually worked out perfect. I never had to pay more than the $50 a year. But now, this Direct Connect with Skype here is the best I've ever found out. It goes straight through Skype, but you have to be really fast with your clickers because I'll show you how you have to do it really fast because it opens up a window here and you have to open it up all the way to get in. Watch this. Okay, dial, and then I have to go really quick over here. Okay. And I have to go open this, and I have to okay right here, launch. If I don't do that, it won't work. So it's really difficult. And then it's calling in on Skype, but it's calling in as if I'm going Skype to Skype, so it's not going to charge me any credits.
Your show is scheduled to start in 24 minutes.
Please call back within 15 minutes of scheduled showtime.
Okay, so I guess you have to call in 15 minutes also that way, so I'll call back. I'm going to say good. I'm going to say excellent, just to be positive. Okay, what I've also decided is that this is going to work. And I want to say this for people who might have tried to be a co-host on my show or other people's show and it didn't work. You are actually in charge of this reality. So if you decide it's going to work and you're not going to take any shit from this reality and you're going to make it work, the reality will go along with your point of view because your reality does not create your point of view creates your reality. So if your point of view is you're not going to take any shit from this reality and you're going to do what it takes to make things work, you're going to make the impossible possible. So that's what I decide to do always now. And I'm going to come in on this. Hi, guys. I can't film myself and this because you won't see the screen that well. So anyway, I'm over here. I haven't shaved in a while. I got a little V here because I'm going to shave around this V because I was Dracula for Halloween, and I have tomorrow another Halloween party, and then a Saturday performance with Dracula, so I'm going to do the little V here and look cool, and hope my wedding place, when I sing on 3 weddings this Saturday, doesn't think I look weird for the wedding fake chapel that I sing at. Okay, our chapel's S&M chapel, but Japanese people don't know what S&M means. So it's actually Saint Nine Muse Chapel, but on the wall it says S&M. It's so funny. But it's one of those fake chapels in Japan where everyone wants to have a Princess Diana wedding and spend $1 million and to pretend they're Princess Diana so they don't have to live in the reality of Japan, which is not as exciting as the fantasy reality, which is why all the people read comic books, because they like alternate reality, and the real reality in Japan is stale and boring, so no one wants to stay in the real reality. So everyone has to be like Disneyland when you have a wedding. Anyway, we'll get into that on another time. But I'm trying to kill time here. So what else can I give you? When the switchboard comes up, when I'm actually live, it'll say host and it'll say co-host. And it'll say the person's name if they put their name in, like I did here. I put my name in. So we have to wait for a little while. What else can I teach on this while we're waiting? Okay. Well, I'm just going to let people know how the stats are going. But my stats, I don't really pay attention to these stats because the stats are very confusing. And also they're not really legit because I've had a lot more callers than it says called into the show many times. But I'm just going to show you stats just to see what's going on. This is I have it on a day-to-day basis, so this is kind of showing the most I've ever had in a day was like up to 30 callers here in the last few weeks. If I go weekly, it'll show weekly callers. And I can change the date here. If anyone didn't know how to do this, if you're a Blog Talk host and you're watching this, you might as well learn some more things while we're waiting for the time to be ready. Okay, so let's go to an earlier date. Let's just go click back here. We'll go back. Let's go back a few months. Update. Okay, so I took a lot of holidays. Every time I take holidays, all my shows go down because I was on my summer music tour. So that's normal. So I don't even worry about that. People worry about their ratings. Oh my God, my ratings are going down. No, it's just I took a few holiday days off. Now if I look at this monthly over some longer time, it went down over the summer months, which it usually does. July, yep. June, July, August, September, October. It went down a little. Because I stopped doing my bi-weekly. I started doing it weekly. And even on my weekly days, when I don't do it bi-weekly, people think I might not do it, so not as many people call in. That happened every summer. So if we look back at last summer when I did my tour, I did less of a tour last year because I couldn't get the time off that I wanted from my jobs. But I did a little bit of a tour. So if I look back to July as opposed to May, it went down each summer. So it was up. Well, it shot up in October because I stopped my music tour, which is going to do soon. But I think one of the reasons it shot up is because I had a few people come on my show, which actually made it shoot up pretty high at that time. If any of you guys are looking for someone to make your ratings go shoot way up, I would recommend one person who I thought was actually two people, which I'm still debating whether it's the one person or two people. Anyway, I won't get into that right now. But if I look at my episodes stats, how can I do that? I forget my episodes. The one who had the most hits on, he actually made me realize I can only have 50 callers on my show because he had like 150 people try to call in. It was Rudy Hunter. So I want to get Rudy Hunter back on because that was one of the coolest shows I ever did because I just saw I couldn't even count up how many people were on the show. I go way back to Rudy Hunter. But if you see all my stats, most calls, it says about 20 people to 10 to 20 people call into the show. Sometimes more, 13, 12, 11, 13, some less. But about 10 callers average. I find that for every caller who calls in live, there's about 10 people most of the time that listen in live. But I swear these numbers are not all correct because I've tried to actually ask people the people who emailed me and said they called in and it didn't show that many people. These stats aren't really correct, so I wouldn't go by these stats as whether you're doing successful or not. We're almost at the 15-minute mark, so I'll stop talking about calls. But I want to show you Rudy, when Rudy came in, how it went up drastically. Okay. So just by myself, I've had 25 callers before. I've had 26 callers here on my show. I've had sometimes a lot more than 10 callers, but when Rudy came on, look at this. Okay, George Corey, who actually lives at the same address as Rudy, which I thought was Rudy because actually their voice sounds identical, so I'm still debating whether, I was saying I wasn't going to get into that debate, but anyway. One of them's younger and one of them's older, but they sound exactly identical, and they almost have, but Rudy had 50 callers and 179 people listening in, and 270 people went back and listened to the thing. Corey had 89 people calling in, 21 listening live, and 100 going back to the stats. So those are the only two people who did that many. I've had a lot of great healers come on, but they, for some reason, didn't get that many callers. So I don't feel so bad when I only have 20-something callers because it's been a lot more than some of the access facilitators I've had come on, which I was pretty shocked. I thought they would bring on more people. But anyway, we're going to go now because we have You're going to go back to the my episodes here, dashboard. No, studio. Okay. Sometimes this won't come up. You have to refresh the browser if that happens. Okay, we're within 15 minutes almost now, so I can call in soon. I'm going to wait until it says 15 minutes. I'm going to first call in to make sure I'm in on his end, because he's never had a co-host on his show. He didn't even know how to do it. A lot of people don't know how to do it because it's a new feature. And this also helps if you have guest healers come on and they don't have to call a long distance number. I had people have to call a New York number to get into the show, which if they're in California, it's kind of a long distance number. I have to call from Japan. I used to actually use a real phone. I got this phone over here. I got this phone put in here just to do my calls when I first started because they didn't have this Skype feature. And it was even dropped me off on Skype. And I got a really expensive, only works on this exact phone that I had to buy specifically for headphone receivers. And it's a one-way only one. I don't like it because it's only one side and it doesn't have speakers on both sides. But this was like a $50 head unit that's only designed for this exact Panasonic phone. It's a Panasonic head set. I had to mail order it. In Japan, when I was in the U.S., they had Plantronics, which was what I used back in my days of telemarketing, which was a little better than these ones, I think, because it had two headphones. Okay, so here we go. It's within 15 minutes. I'm going to try to get in on his show, Direct Connect. This is if you're going to be a co-host, what you do.
Blog Talk Radio. Your show is scheduled to start in 14 minutes, 13 seconds. Welcome to Blog Talk Radio. Please hold and you'll be able to listen to the show.
Okay, so now I'm in on the switchboard. And this is a free call, so if you have any healers come on your show or any people you're interviewing, you can send them a co-host link, and they can get in from anywhere in the world as long as they have a strong enough internet connection. So you have to have a landline. We call it I learned from my last healing session, it's called not a designated, what's it called? A dedicated landline. So this is a dedicated landline. It's not a wireless connection, it's none of that stuff. This is high speed. Supposedly a gigabyte per second, but whether that's really true or not, well, now I call into my show, like I did on Skype. I have to go really fast. I have to open this, and if I don't do it in time to launch it, see, now I can't do it. Now I have to try it again. I don't know why it won't open that screen. It puts it in a block over here, but that's because the new... Okay, here, I have to go real fast. Launch it. Yes, I got in. Okay.
Your show is scheduled to start in 12 minutes, 41 seconds.
Okay, so I'm now calling in on the Skype feature right here on the program, and I'm going to show up on the switchboard here. I'm going to play some music in the background just for... No, I'm not going to, but if anyone calls in, they're going to hear me. So I don't want them to hear me talking, so I'm going to mute this for now until the show starts, because I don't want them to hear this elevator
12
music.
minutes until showtime.
This elevator music is not Anthony's music. This is Blog Talk Radio's music, which I wish... I should send them my CDs and tell them they can play it, because this elevator music is just not cool for the callers who have to call in and wait. But, of course, they do this because they don't want to pay commissions to any people who have their music with a major label. But since I don't yet have a major label, they could play my music with my permission. So I'm going to try to do that because I would rather they play my CD than this elevator music. That's a great idea. So I'm going to... When I get done with this, I'm gonna get on Blog Talk and do that. They probably don't know that they could solicit other people's music that are not signed with a major label and not have to pay commissions.
11 minutes until showtime.
Let me look at my switchboard. I got both of them. I made sure I closed everything else because if you have a bunch of other stuff, I can't close Skype because I'm calling it on Skype. Otherwise, I would close Skype too because I don't want to have any disturbances. But it looks like everything's working fine. When I want to talk on my show, I got to unmute myself here. And since I'm going to be simulcasting once it starts, I can't unmute myself. Otherwise, no one on my show is going to hear what's going on his show. So I have to make sure all those things are unmuted. Otherwise, people are just going to hear silence on my end. Let me see if I got this all right. Join Andrew Law. Yeah, we did. Okay, I'm going to keep that as it is. I'm just going to send out a promo. I want to open the chat room, but I'm afraid
until showtime.
It might slow down the connection, so let me just put out an announcement that we're going live. These really help. I found when I forgot to do these, the amount of callers that called in were a lot less because this puts a message on Twitter, it puts a message on Facebook, and it puts a message out to all the people who signed up as your what do you call it? Anyone who subscribed to you on Blog Talk, it sends them a message that we're going on in 10 minutes. Listen now. Live in 10 minutes. So this, I found whenever I do this before the show, about 10 minutes before the show, a lot more people call in than normal. So you want to remember to do this. It says promote, and you want to get Twitter. I never use Twitter. I only use it for these ones. I just decided to sign up for it just for this. Just so I can have one other place to people can see.
9 minutes until showtime.
Okay, what can we do now while we're waiting so that...
Can you hear me, Tim?
I can hear you.
Okay. In a few minutes, I'm going to be turning off the other recording on, and then we'll be able to hear you even better. But right now, can you tell if there's any feedback at all?
It sounds good on my end.
I can barely hear you, but I think it's just the music.
Yeah, your music's loud.
Okay. Yeah, we'll wait a few more minutes, and then we'll go from there.
Okay. But I think it's going to all work. My switchboard's open. Everything's good.
Yeah, so you're coming in as a regular caller is what's happening.
Okay.
And I don't know what the...
8 minutes until showtime.
That's what it looks like.
Okay. Cool.
So I just got to get some water.
Yeah, once you call in on your Blog Talk side, it'll probably, that background music we can cut off.
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm going to go get some water too.
Okay.
Seven minutes until showtime.
Okay, I'm back. I got water.
Okay, good.
For the people listening in on my end, we're waiting for the show to go live, and we're simulcasting along with...
Well, I can barely hear you.
Okay, well they can hear me because I'm directly on the switchboard there.
Or you can text me on Skype if you want.
Because I'm calling in on Skype to my switchboard, I don't want to do that because it's gonna be difficult.